Well, it's changed dramatically. When we first launched our Southeast Asia Fund 2 years ago, we kind of underestimated how quickly things would develop in Southeast Asia. What happened today is not only was there like a boom in the amount of seed deals, is that there's more Series ABC capital throughout the pipe. 2 years ago, like you would have to almost go to Japan or look for other places of capital if you want to raise a late stage round. But right now, the ecosystem is very complete. For us, we invested in 26% of all seed deals in the past 2 years. And so that's 120 companies. So I think we were kind of like working a lot with a lot of co-investors to try and create the startup scene, So I'm proud to say that, at least right now, it's more complete than it was 2 years ago. So with geography, what's become more obvious to people is that Jakarta, specifically Jakarta as a city, has become a battleground for a lot of Southeast Asian startups. If you're a Malaysian company who raised some good money, you're expanding out of Malaysia, or Singapore expanding out of Singapore, your first choice is to try and conquer Jakarta, right? So if you want to be a real Southeast Asian company, like most people feel they need claim Indonesia. So that's where Indonesia becomes a battleground. So in terms of hot geographies, I personally moved to Jakarta. I live in Jakarta for the past half year, to stay really close to the battlefield, right? Because that's where it is. In terms of spaces, every space has its bright spots and dark spots. Like a lot of people would say that, e-commerce is not cool anymore, O2O is over the hill. But even within e-commerce and O2O, there are specific parts of it which you can create and capture a lot of value. So for e-commerce, for example, if you're doing general e-commerce and selling the same thing that any marketplace can sell, you're pretty much screwed, right? And Amazon comes in and everything else, right? So it's like a commodity game, race to the bottom. But if you own your own brand and your own supply and a cult brand that a lot of people love, you can benefit from the boom in a lot of different distribution channels. So ready to subsidize and push your products that people want. So we've been investing a lot of own brand, exclusive brand, kind of online kind of companies, and a lot of them are actually profitable. So it's I think those are some of the bright spots in the e-commerce. And like I said, every single segment there are dark spots, bright spots, and those things change every couple of years. The kind of criticism of Southeast Asia that sometimes you get is that okay, great, as a region you got 600 million people, but each country is so different. But when you look at EU and that's also kind of the same thing. These kind of differences are starting to close in because there are more benchmarks of other companies who expanded regionally very successfully. So if you look at the old school ones, say Job Street, for example, going to many cities, and then the new generation, you see Grab, which is one of our portfolio companies, going into multiple cities so quickly and dominating a lot of these cities. A lot of new breed of entrepreneurs look at that and say, wait a minute, if they can do it, I can do it too. Right? So you get the newer generation ones like KFit, for example. When they launched 6 cities at the same time. Right? So a lot of business models, they don't stray too far city to city. Like if here we're in Hong Kong, if we go to Bangkok, or we go to Manila, or we go to Singapore, if you go to the malls, you see the same shops. Right, you kind of drink from the same Starbucks cup. There's a lot of homogeneity, right, emerging for all these cities. A lot of the people who inhabit the working class in cities, they get educated overseas, watch overseas media. So it's not that different when you look city to city. You look country to country, okay, there are some very stark differences. But city to city, there are enough similarities for you to launch in multiple cities at the same time. Well, I think the scene in early stage, I wouldn't call it that competitive because less entrants are coming in, and then there's more startups emerging. So the demand supply thing is not. It doesn't come to a point where there's only 10 entrepreneurs and there's 20 VCs. It's not competitive in that sense. And also for early stage and seed, a lot of the investors are very collaborative. When a startup is raising 300K, I'm going to shop it to my fellow CVCs. I'm like, hey, you want to look at this? I've got 100K, you got 100K, and we're sharing all the time. But when we come to Series A, B, C, they got minimum ownership stake. Okay, I want 20% of the company, right? Then another VC wants another 20%, and there's 40% of the company. The founder's like, no, right? So that's where Series A onwards, there's a lot of competition. They're trying to okay, I'm going to give you this term sheet, but you can't shop it to anybody else, and different ways. And so that's where it gets a bit more competitive. A lot of people talk about what BAT is doing in Southeast Asia, and each of them have all their secret little moves, and they don't tell each other about it, right? And so from the ground, we hear all kinds of things. For example, WeChat has R&D office in Malaysia, experimenting with the Chinese people of Malaysia, right? Small moves all the way to big moves, like Baidu kind of launching big platforms across Indonesia. and of course like Alibaba, the acquisitions and so on and so forth. However, what I find very interesting is not what BAT is doing, but what the rest of the Chinese unicorns are looking at. Of course, like see, like DiDi invests in Grab, right, and it's very close working relationship with Grab. But the rest of the non-BAT, but they're still unicorn, the Chinese unicorns, what are they doing in Southeast Asia, right? They are jacked up with some cash, right, and they got growth prospects. Southeast Asia offers them a backyard of MAUs and DAUs to help fuel their growth. All of them are sending people out. They're all talking to people. So I think 2017 you're gonna see some deals start to emerge.